Welcome. You're listening to the calming sounds of the Tidepool Orchestra. Side A.
Hello and welcome to the Tidepool Orchestra. Which episode are we on?
25.
25, feel alive. Yeah.
Wait, is it 25? Hang on.
Okay.
I'm so unprofessional. Professional. Fuck you.
Well, you look that up. We have literally a dozen questions.
Good lord.
Yeah, literally 12 questions. Starting with
Good God, y'all.
from Red. This was actually posted last week.
Yes, 25.
Yeah, sweet, episode 25. This was a question from January 29th, right after you guys recorded the last episode. It says, question for the next podcast, why? Would you like to answer that?
Science isn't about why, it's about why not.
I agree. Why not is a perfectly good answer to that question. This one's aimed at you. It's from Chris. When is Mike going to stop acting like a person and get back in his cage?
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage.
Nice. Yeah, that one's kind of aimed entirely at you, so I can't really answer that. This one's from
When
Noah.
is Brian?
When is Brian going to stop acting like a person and get back in his cage? Well, actually, I'm acting more like a bear on a unicycle, juggling for the amusement of others.
Basically?
Yeah, I have a bucket on my head, and every now and then I stop juggling so I can pick up the bucket, kind of doff it at people, and then put it back on. So, have you ever seen that NBC sitcom Happy Endings?
God, have I? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. They have this joke around the main characters only know it's spring when this couple argues. So the couple realizes that, and then they try to fake an argument to try to get everybody ready for spring, but everybody realizes that they're faking, and so everybody's like, "But winter's still going! Look, he's still in full bear mode!" And they point out this character, Max. He's supposed to be this gay character who's also a huge slob, and he's really bad at taking care of himself. And he's just progressively getting worse and worse, to the point where he's digging through the trash for food, and they're like, "You gotta put locks in that. There are bears around here." It's a great show. It was canceled way before its time.
Oh.
We have a question from Noah in the form of a picture. Says, how I mine for fish.
It's not a question.
It has a question mark at the end, so it is a question. How I mine for fish. I believe if you have an underwater river or some sort of otherwise flooded cavern, you could probably create a small mining section to drain off the water, and hopefully some of the fish will go inside of that area as well.
Huh. Well, I don't think that's mining. I think that's I don't think it's mining, but anyways.
But anyways, how would you answer that question?
You don't.
Okay. Cool. We're going through these questions a little bit faster than I expected, but there are a lot of them, so I think we should just keep on rolling with this current speed, and then we can just, do all the questions in Side A. We still have 9 to go.
Damn. Okay. I'm cool with that. Let's do it.
Okay. Why am I talking in questions for podcast? I don't know how to Discord. That's from Jason.
Because it defaults to that channel every time you pop back in, Jason. Duh.
Yeah, Jason.
Check the channel.
When you're in Discord, it automatically defaults to the last thing that somebody typed in. So you gotta make sure that you're typing in the correct thing.
Especially if you're on mobile. Mobile gets fucky sometimes.
Yeah. You gotta really dig in with that autism to figure out exactly where you are at any given moment. And unfortunately, Jason doesn't have that. He has the ADHD or ADD ADDH, which is ADHD in alphabetical order. Attention deficit disorder, hyperactive.
Okay.
Yeah. Brad says, also, will you include Jimmy rustling? Now, are you familiar with what Jimmy rustling refers to?
Otherwise known as getting your goat?
Yeah. Now, we had that back in the 2012 Tidepool Orchestra, and I'm actually planning on doing like a little... This is a little bit behind the scenes, but I'm planning on doing a documentary series around like or something, just showing off like the entire history of the Tidepool Orchestra, going all the way back to 2011 to current day 2019.
You absolute mad lad.
Yeah, that's gonna be like 8 years. But yeah, Jimmy rustling. I would love to bring it in. My main issue is right now at the current moment, I think we need to get better at communication, because otherwise the Jimmy wrestling segment, I feel it would really just like make us have actual fights behind the scenes. I don't know.
I mean, you're probably right, since we're already like, I'm not going to say at each other's throats, but we're not exactly on the best of terms as a trio right now.
Yeah, it's
so I
it's
feel like
pretty,
getting each other's goats would be more like instigating murder.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to step on eggshells for the time being, but my god, I want to put on those big boy boots and just stomp around and be like, another thing, furries, bad. But like...
And another thing, fuck yourself.
Right? Like, would you ever want to do Jimmy wrestling in the future sometime? If maybe we can get everything going correctly, do you think?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we try out some Jimmy wrestling for our audience? Hey, Mike, were you ever a fan of Invaderism?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear what happened with the movie?
No.
Did you even know that they're making a movie?
Yeah, I was excited about it.
Well, guess what? This is completely true, and you can look it up right now. It's not going to air on Nickelodeon ever.
I think I knew that.
Yeah.
It's Adult Swim, right?
No.
Oh.
No, Nickelodeon and Adult Swim are entirely different companies.
I know that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought I heard somewhere in the grapevine that Turner was picking it up to show on Adult Swim. I guess I was wrong.
No. They were thinking about doing an Adult Swim version of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, but it turns out
that's what I'm thinking of.
The Invaders Zim movie is already canceled, and they're never airing it on TV. So that's fun. Your turn.
Brian, I'm too nice to do this.
Right? That's another thing, is everybody is too nice to do Jimmy wrestling. It was better when it was like Alex, because Alex doesn't even care how people feel. I got into a call with him earlier, and I was like, hey buddy, we never talk anymore. And you know what he said to me? He said, fuck you, and he hung up. That was our entire call.
Really?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Oh my god.
You know, the other night, Alex was sick, and I played video games with him for 4 hours.
That's cool that you have a good relationship with Alex. He used to be my best friend.
He is my best friend.
Oh. Shit, I accidentally just turned off my TV, but not my computer, so hang on just a second while I...
That's how I'm getting your goat. I'm Alex's best friend.
Oh. TV on. I'm using my TV as a computer monitor, so I need the TV on, otherwise all I get is audio.
That's fine. What do you need video for? We're recording a podcast.
Because I need to read the questions.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing.
A question from Chris. What's a popular...
Another one?
You're right.
That's fine. We have questions to be answered. We must answer the questions.
No, you're right. It should be one per person. We have a question from Brian here. It's why though one per person, Mike? It's directed to you, I guess.
I didn't say one per person.
Uh-huh.
I was just grimacing at the fact that it was another question from Chris, because usually his questions are undesirable.
Okay. This one's a pretty good question though, and could lead to some good discussion. Uh it's what's a popular game that you don't like? We'll start off with Mike.
That I don't like, or that I don't necessarily think lives up to the hype?
Chris, what popular game is the game that not only will you not play, but if you see somebody playing them if you see somebody playing that game, you will actively throw yourself into the sea?
I don't have a game like that. I will not go out of my way to harm myself because of the play choices of others.
Boring. You should self-harm all the time.
I used to.
Oh.
Can we edit that out?
No. Maybe.
Well, shit.
Nah, it's fine. I'll start. I'm super bad at first-person shooters because I don't like first-person atmospheres. I really.
Is it because you feel like you're playing as yourself and you play video games to not be yourself?
Have you ever seen Wreck-It Ralph, the first one from 2012?
Of course I have.
Right, they have that. They have the Hero's Duty game, and inside the player character is represented by just like a flat screen with like just a skeleton holding a single one of the gloves and guns. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. That's essentially how I always felt when I was playing first person shooters. I'm just controlling like this hovering like nothingness that's floating above a single gloved hand.
That's depressing.
Yeah. I always found it very disconcerting. Also, I just typically didn't play that many video games growing up, so I like things like the Mario games, and this is going to tie into a later question where it's like I like third-person games that are colorful platform puzzle adventures. Which of the new more popular games is your least favorite, Mike? Do you like Fortnite?
God, no. Fucking Fort. Oh. Oh, shit.
All right, then that's a popular game that you don't like. Good.
You're right. God damn it.
Try to be positive all the goddamn time, but I'm gonna peel back these layers, Mike, and we're gonna find the little cynic inside of you.
If you peel too far, it won't be small. It won't be a little cynic. Be big old cynic.
Can't tell if you're trying to make a dick joke or not.
No, I'm not trying to make a dick joke. I'm saying I have a lot of repression going on.
Yay! Entertain us with your traumas.
No.
We have a question actually towards me. Do you have the Discord open? Maybe you can ask this one.
I have Discord open.
Yeah. I
Is it on the
mean, questions for podcast, yeah, and then it's pinned because I pin all the questions that we get so that we could do them at the end of the week.
That's smart, Brian. You're smart.
It's almost like I've been doing podcasts for 8 years.
Maybe.
So this is pinned. It's like 1, 2, 3,
Tell
4.
us about your most painful physical experience, Brian.
Oh boy. So I have a lot of various painful physical experiences. Like even going back to when I was a child and was like running down the sidewalk, I tripped and fell, and I didn't want to hurt my hands, so I pulled them back and I just slid on my face across the sidewalk, peeling my face off. An entire half of my face was gone. And then when it finally healed, I ended up doing the same thing in my driveway on the way to school, except it was the opposite side of my face. And when I got home from school that day, my dad looked at me and said, "Wasn't it thought your face was torn off on the other half.
Your dad's an interesting man.
Yeah. Painful experiences. Well, I could go the funny route and go like, when they got the divorce, it was very emotionally painful. But nah, people want physical pain, yeah? Yeah, it says most painful physical experience. That was Red's question. Okay,
that was specifically physical. He probably didn't care about your emotional trauma.
Yeah, nobody ever does. So most
Damn.
most painful physical experience would probably have to be when I had a urethral infection and could not urinate for days on end.
And how'd you get that, Brian?
Q-tip, hair conditioner, and a little bit of elbow grease. So I ended up going to the doctor, and the doctor literally told me straight up, "Hey, you're stupid." Which, I mean, that goes back to the emotional thing. That's not really what we need to hear. Is I ended up taking medication for it, and they said straight up, "You need to take this medication. You need to take these painkillers, and you need to drink a shit ton of water." I don't think he said shit ton, but he said like an absurd amount of water. Just way too much water than you'll ever. Make sure to take a lot of these painkillers. This is going to be comparable to childbirth. And I think it was.
Yeah?
Mike, let me tell you, I'm standing there in the bathroom because I'm a boy and I stand up, and
Weird flex, but okay.
At first, and then my knees buckled in pain and I fell and collapsed and passed out a little.
How do you pass out a little?
I blacked out on my way down, but when I hit the porcelain of the bathtub, I woke up.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Fancy. I had a porcelain bathtub.
Are you trying to get my goat here? Is that what you're trying to do, Mike? You're trying to entertain our listeners and try to trying to do a little bit of Jimmy rustling. Look at you, Mr. Fancy Pants. My parents had a bedroom and didn't sleep in the yard. Ooh.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's you. I went to when I was in like middle school, I went to my friend's house for a sleepover, and he gave me a tour of his house, and I just every part of his tour I was a smart ass too. And he's like, "All right, so this is my bedroom and this is my parents' bedroom." And I'm like, "Whoa, your parents have a bedroom?" And his parents are in like the living room laughing at me. So I felt pretty validated by that. That was dumb.
So are you, so it works.
See, I like this. I like that you're digging in a little deeper. That's pretty good. Thanks, Mike.
No problem.
You asshole. We're having fun here at the Tidepool Orchestra, calling each other names. Mike, call me a name.
Fucking dickhead.
You degenerate, filthy scum.
Hey, don't bring my fandoms into this.
I said filthy.
I mean, how else would you describe furries?
Your words. Hey, what's the most...
Yeah, they were my words.
Here's a question from Jason. Those are always good. What's the most you have ever shitted in your life?
At once or in one day?
He does not specify.
All right, you go first while I think of this.
So at my job, I don't really get breaks so much as I have to stand in place as long as there are customers around. So that's annoying. Sometimes it can be like 6 hours straight. So then we finally, we start closing up, and I close down the till and count everything, and then clock out, make sure all the paperwork's done, make sure the doors are locked and all of the things are shut down. And I run to the bathroom, and oh my god. Anyway.
Was it that bad?
Yes. I don't want to go into graphic detail about the exact amount, but it was more than I have ever seen in my entire life. And it was also like the first time I had gone to the bathroom in such a manner in 6 days.
Oh my god. I mean, that's actually pretty similar to me.
It's exciting. Do go on.
All right, so back when I first started keto, I didn't do it the right way. For those of you who don't know, keto is it's a low to no carb, high fat diet, which you can do and have perfectly balanced fibers and everything like that. But when you first start it and you're like, veggies are bad, I'm just going to eat meat, cheese, and butter, because that's the main components of a low carb, high fat, high protein diet. Unfortunately,
I want to. Can I say something before?
yeah.
Okay. When you said, "But I did it the wrong way," I thought for sure that you were gonna say I injected it. Anyway, go on.
Okay. So I didn't really put fiber into my body for like the first week and a half, 2 weeks. So after like day 3, I stopped pooping.
Yeah.
I didn't think about this until around day 13.
Jeez.
My stomach really hurts.
You know, if you go for
What?
too long, it will actually back up and start coming out through your mouth.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. It's interesting. And I'm glad I was down to eating once a day at this point because it probably would have happened.
Yeah.
So one day, I'm like, all right, tomorrow's my day off. I'm just going to eat a shit ton of fiber. A shit ton. I'm just going to eat a lot of fiber today. Like, mix fiber drink into every single glass of water I drink. Eat nothing but, like, broccoli and celery and stuff like that. And my stomach was gurgling all that day. And the next day when I woke up, it was time to release the floodgates.
My God.
I am not religious, and I was praying.
Oh, that happened to me once when I was like overdosing on drugs and everything went blurry, and I'm pretty sure I saw like the actual Satan, but like I'm not religious at all.
Hey there, Satan.
But it was pretty cool, man, because I felt like I was in a coma for 6 days, but it turned out I was only like blacked out for 5 minutes.
That's pretty much how drugs do.
Yeah, that is pretty much how drugs do. Hey, here's another question from Chris. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite Marvel character that hasn't gotten a movie yet?
Ooh.
Now, one could argue two things about this, like, oh, well, what if it's a side character? Like, what if they've only shown up in, like, an after credits scene? But then I remembered that, you know, Howard the Duck had his own movie separate from the MCU.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Have you seen all of the comics I have?
I've seen your comic book stand.
Yeah. I know a pretty good amount of comic knowledge, so I think that you should go first, actually. Ooh, I know, Wolverine. Oh, you know who hasn't gotten a movie in a while? Spider-Man.
Spider-Man just had a movie.
Yeah, but how...
It's in theaters right now.
Is it really?
Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh, yeah. I guess... Oh, shit. That means Spider-Ham technically has a movie, huh?
Yep.
Hmm. What about Deadpool? Does he have a movie?
He has 2.
What? Shit.
Squirrel Girl?
Squirrel Girl could definitely have a movie. She was gonna be part of a TV show, but then it got canceled before it came out.
Loki's getting his own TV show.
That's unnecessary, and I'm pretty sure he died.
Yeah, but we both know he's not actually dead. Come on.
Okay, so you already took Squirrel Girl. So
Yep.
I guess I'm gonna have
I did
to
it on
go-
purpose.
You did it on purpose because you thought I was going to?
Yeah.
You crazy. I'm gonna have to go with Flatman then.
Flatman.
Yeah, he has the power of he can be flat. Have you not heard of Flatman?
Wish I had that power.
No, he doesn't get skinny. He gets flat like paper.
Yeah, I wish I had that power.
So they had a Great Lake Avengers book in 2015, and in that book, Flatman is the leader of the Great Lake Avengers, but he's also a very bad leader. So every now and then, like the taxman comes around and he's like, "Okay, nobody tell him I'm here." And so he turns flat and he hides behind the fridge. It's a really good book.
That's pretty great, actually.
Yeah, that book's great too because one of the characters is a girl who learns that she can turn into her fursona, and they refer to it as such.
You told me about this.
Yeah, but her fursona is also a boy, so her superhero name is Good Boy.
Yeah, and she is a good boy.
Yeah, so I would go with Flatman just because like it would be great.
I would love to see that.
I really like.
I would love to read that. Can you recommend some comics?
Recommend some comics right now, just aside from.
No, I mean later on to me, personally.
No, let's do it on the podcast. Sure. My Boyfriend is a Bear is a delightful one from Oni Press.
Of course it is.
That one is about this girl who finds a grizzly bear in the fucking woods. And you're like, oh, okay, well, naturally it can talk or whatever. No, this is just a straight up real life grizzly bear.
What's she doing in the woods, Brian?
She was going on a camping date with her ungrateful boyfriend at the time who wanted her to collect sticks for the fire. And she was like, I need to find somebody who's better and treats me right. And then she finds a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
And she breaks up with her regular boyfriend, and then the grizzly bear follows her home and starts eating out of her trash can because, again, he is a grizzly bear. So she invites him inside and, like, puts a shirt on him and then, like, takes him out to movies and dinner.
As you do.
Yeah, and then they become a really good couple. And, like, her friends are judging her about it, and they're like, that's a fucking bear. She's like, you be nice to him. He's my boyfriend.
You know, bear is just like gay language for dad bod.
And he definitely does have a dad bod, and most of the story is like, I think it's actually a metaphor for like being in a relationship with somebody in the army or armed services because he has to go hibernate, and so he has to leave for like months at a time. And she's just at home constantly wondering, like, is he cheating on me? And she actually ends up going out of her way to sneak into his cave to check in on him with all the other bears. Really? Yeah. And he's still sleeping, and she's like, oh, I guess it was just my mind.
So does she have the right to bear arms?
They have sex.
Brian, just continue. All right, the next question. What is it?
No, more comics.
No, stop it. All right, in a rig fight, who would win?
You skipped one.
I'm coming back to it. I want to get as far away from comic books as possible for the time being.
I'm super into the newest Aquaman books. There's an Aquaman Jabberjaw crossover, which is pretty good because neither of them ever got any respect.
Brian.
In a rake fight,
who would trident win? It does not count as a rake, so you have no reason to mention Aquaman.
What is a rake fight?
I guess a fight with rakes?
I don't know what that means.
The most dangerous of yard working tools.
Is it like when Sideshow Bob in The Simpsons is like stepping on rakes and they bop him in the head?
No, I have a feeling you hold the rake normally and swing it at people.
Okay, that sounds terrifying and a really easy way to scratch each other. I propose that in a rake fight, I would probably win because you are too meek. You would probably...
What?
if it was me and you and we were fighting, you would give up easily, I think.
Why do you think that?
Because you could barely say mean things towards me, let alone hit me with a rake.
Okay.
If it was me, you, and Jordan, Jordan would probably lose first.
Lose first.
Yeah. Okay. Mike, cool. You clearly are against this idea. Why do you think rake me would you fight win? I'm having a stroke.
I'm sorry.
Having a stroke. It's great.
At least you can actually, if you can acknowledge it, you're not having a stroke. That's one of the symptoms of a stroke.
Every time I'm writing this book with Jason that I'm sure is going to come out sometime in the next 10 years, I feel like I'm having a stroke because I ended up writing like I was 6 layers deep into my 7 coma dip bean layer. And like that was an actual sentence in that book.
It shouldn't have been.
Who do you think would win in the rake fight?
Probably me. Well, actually, maybe not. It would probably be you because, the whole murder thing.
Mike thinks I murdered a guy.
I didn't say it was a guy. I don't know who the fuck you murdered.
Okay. Chris said, no, not Chris. Zia said, and who out of you died in Infinity War? And Zia, that's a really good question, and I would like to point out that Jordan has not been in the podcast this week.
I'm not saying that the two are correlated, but I'm not saying the two are correlated.
Look, I'm just putting all the evidence out there that jet fuel can't melt steel beams, and I'm not saying what that is implying, but if you want to infer what you want to infer, that's fine.
Jet fuel can't melt anything. It's a liquid.
Look, 7-Eleven was a part-time job.
Yep.
7-Eleven,
8-11, it's 6-11, 7-Eleven, 8-11, George Bush.
And finally, a question from Noah. You guys need to ask less questions, honestly. Like, we're
the first half is just becoming questions.
Honestly, side A is now only questions. You guys need to ask less questions. You know what they were trying to do, Mike? This is like me telling my mom and dad that a kid's picking on me. You know what they said? They wanted to make 69 questions. It's taking us like at least 2 minutes per questions on this, and we're at 12 questions.
And whose fault is that it's taking us so long per question, Brian? I'm going to talk about this comic where this lady is a bestiality felon.
In Spider-Geddon, we're introduced to a Spider-Man who plays the guitar and has a mohawk. When is he getting a movie? Ooh. There's also I Kill
Why
Giant.
are you bad at non-Mario games?
I'm bad at I talked about this earlier. I'm bad at non-Mario games because like I never actually grew up with video games that much. I was more into reading. And so now that I'm trying to do video games as an adult, it's hard for me to get invested into things that have like long, complicated stories and actual dark grittiness to them. I just want something that I can jump in, play a little bit, have a good time, and then jump out.
Brian, is this game too scary for you? My display picture is a fucking Care Bear.
Yeah, my Discord avatar is a Care Bear, man. Come on. Are you serious? Are you fucking serious right now? So in the 2016, The Flintstones, it's pretty good. Oh my god. That's a good comic series.
Cool.
There's a Chinese Superman. That one was really good. I cannot recommend that one enough, honestly, because it has
You're my Chinese Superman.
Oh, you're my Chinese Superman too. All right, let's take a break. Let's do an intermission, and then we'll come back for side B.
End of side A. Please continue on side B.
I love intermissions. Those are my favorite thing.
Chris, let me tell you about the murder I got away with.
Okay, but I gotta tell you about the murder that almost happened.
Okay.
Like, I legitimately almost murdered a guy.
Sweet.
Like, my mom's ex-boyfriend was an abusive drunk, And like one day we came home and he started choking her, and my wife went to pull him off of her, and he slapped my wife, and then thought he was gonna come fight me. And then when he thought he was gonna fight me, I stabbed him in the stomach.
I'm glad that this isn't the podcast because there's so much background noise.
Yeah. You want background noise? I can walk back in the factory.
Are both of you at work right now? Why are you on a call?
I'm on my 15-minute break.
Oh.
And I like interacting with people besides the ones I work with.
Me too.
No, I mean, not to say that the people I work with aren't pretty cool. Like, I've gotten, like, few people to subscribe to the podcast since I've been here.
I think probably the reason why I can't get more subscribers is because I tell people to like and prescribe, and then they think I'm telling them to take their medication.
Like, prescribe, and share with your comatose friends.
Yeah. Bruh. I'm just like putting the podcast everywhere.
Have you told Chris about the book?
Hey,
Yeah,
Chris,
I've been watching y'all talk about the book forever. Like, I just silently lurk on
we finally finished our first draft.
That makes my nipples hard.
oh,
Oh,
it's bad.
Brian, read the scene with the cheeseburger.
Read the scene with the cheeseburger. You really want me to do that?
Yes.
Are they gonna fuck the cheeseburger? Because that sounds hot.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Welcome back. You're listening to the calming sounds of the Tidepool Orchestra. Side B.
Hello and welcome back to Side B of episode 25 of the Tidepool Orchestra. And right before we started, I asked Mike, hey, what should we talk about? Should we talk about comics? And you know what Mike said? He said, no, talk about the troubles of being a single mother. Can you just confirm for the audience that that's what happened right before I hit record?
Brian, what the fuck are you talking about?
You're really gonna do this?
Do what?
You're really gonna pretend like you never said that? Okay, cool.
But we could talk about gaslighting.
What's that?
It's when you have a gas appliance and you have to light it.
Oh. I thought it meant something else, but I was wrong.
What did you think it meant?
I thought it was when you told me that it meant something else. So
Wait, did I tell you?
Wait, did I tell? Wait, hang on. Wait. Oh, right.
Moving on.
So we super don't know what to talk about right now. So that's awesome. Well, let's talk about the fact that we don't know what to talk about, and then maybe that can evolve into a subject matter. 25 episodes. You know that, Mike?
Yeah, that's it took a while for us to burn out, didn't it?
Yeah, it took about 7 years. But now we're on episode 25.
You know, when you say it like that.
Yo, I got my shirt in the mail yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It says Tidepool Orchestra on it, and I went to the comic book store earlier today. I was super excited. I thought for sure people were going to ask about that, and you know what happened?
Nobody asked about it.
They had a Kamen Rider toy for $80.
Brian.
And I told them I can't afford that right now, and she said, well, have you tried not being poor?
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
That's fucked, dude. I wouldn't go back there.
I spend all of my money at that comic book store.
That's fucked, dude. I wouldn't go back there.
You know, a lot of people will spend money on, like, video games, or toys, or hobbies, or friends, or movies, or... I spend my money on comic books. They're all terrible. Comic books are stupid.
I actually disagree with you.
Ask me a question about any of the currently running comic book series.
Does that include manga?
No, because I'm not a weeb.
Oh, I don't know.
You know what's going on West Coast Avengers right now?
I didn't know there was a West Coast Avengers.
Oh man, there's a Great Lake Avengers, there's a West Coast Avengers. Basically, there's all sorts of Avengers that aren't just like the ones in the movies.
Is there a Deep South Avengers?
No. No, there is not.
Well, I'm terribly offended.
I think there was like a group that helped out in the Deep South, but I can't remember which characters they were. Oh, here's something. This is really dumb and interesting. So I used to live in Stockton, California, right?
Yeah?
And I recently looked up on Wikipedia to see like the population and all that, and it turns out that that is canonically the birthplace of the Fantastic Four. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah. It's dumb, right? Because they live in
No,
New York.
I think that's pretty cool.
You're pretty cool.
I mean, so are you, but fuck you.
Okay. More comics? You were asking for comic recommendations, so I feel like that's a good topic to expand upon.
Okay, sure.
Cool. What kind of comics are you into, Mike?
I like adventure comics and action comics and slice of life comics and
I will go directly to your house and bitch slap you if you talk like that anymore.
what are you talking about? I'm not talking like anything, Brian.
I hate you. I hate everything that you stand for.
But if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Okay.
It's true. I read it on a fortune cookie.
That's cool.
It's something.
What's your favorite Chinese food?
I like
Yeah, I think we're just gonna go back and forth and ask each other questions. It's probably a better idea.
not a good podcast, but
Probably
okay.
not. No, but we're trying to be entertaining. I'm trying my hardest right here, right now.
Your hardest is not good enough.
Great. That's fantastic news. I've been working
Yeah,
on this show for 7 years. I'm still not good. What's your favorite Chinese food?
I like broccoli beef
Okay.
and
Yep.
sweet and sour chicken.
Delightful.
Yeah. If you could do anything you wanted to do, what would you do?
Heroin.
Okay.
If I could do anything I wanted to do, what would I do? My dad likes to have this saying, and he puts it on the refrigerator, and he just every other month or so he'll put it on Facebook because he thinks it's super motivational. So what would you do? What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? And he thinks the way he interprets this message is that if you could never fail at something, you would never try to accomplish it because, to fail at something is the first step at becoming better at it. That's how he interprets that message. But every other person who sees it is like, oh, I would rob a bank. Or, like, I would fly. Like something that if you could not fail, you would naturally just want to do and get away with. So what would I want to do if I could do anything?
I don't know if your dad is stupid or wholesome.
I'm not sure if I should answer that. Oh, actually, you know what? I have a topic for conversation that I haven't told you before, and I think now's the time.
Now is the time.
So we have a friend of the family, right? And she's deaf. And my dad was writing this book and actually got it self-published. It's about a little psychic boy who ends up killing himself at the end.
Oh
And
no.
his name is Tony, and I found out, my dad wanted my name to be Tony, so I have a couple of misgivings about this book. I haven't read it all the way through, but
You haven't read your own dad's book?
I haven't read my own dad's book about a little boy who's described as the perfect son who becomes a police officer and a firefighter, and then is named after the name he wanted to give me when I was born, and also ends up killing himself at the age of 30. No, I haven't read that. I'm gonna wait until I'm 30 and then I'm gonna read it. So
And then you're gonna read it in the bathtub and then drop in your toaster.
yeah. So he wrote that and he self-published it. I think it's called Tony Awakening or something. But so our deaf friend is like, hey, you can write books. Can you write about how hard it is to be deaf? And he's like, awesome. All right. Step 1. It's about vampires. So I'm going to pitch his idea towards you like a conversation, and you be me and I be him. Okay? You ready? But then there was silence. Mike, are you?
Sorry, yeah. My mic got turned off.
Okay, so I'm my dad, you're me, we're gonna have this conversation, so use all of your improv talents, okay?
I don't have any of those.
Cool, that's fine. Hey Brian.
Yeah, Dad?
I'm gonna write a book about a deaf vampire.
Why?
Well, you see, vampires are very popular, and I feel like a vampire that's deaf would be a good way to explain how all the troubles of being deaf.
Dad, that's stupid. You're stupid.
No, listen, Brian. Listen, you're not giving this a chance. So we're going to start out with them driving, and of course the vampire is rich. Right, of course.
Dad, that's stupid.
No, listen. So the vampire who is deaf and driving along and is obviously very wealthy. Why don't you ask why they're wealthy?
Why are they wealthy, Dad?
Well, vampires live for a very long time, so naturally the vampire would be able to find all the things that are going to be worth a lot of money someday and hold on to them and then sell them later so that they could become rich.
Dad, that's dumb.
Okay, you need to get better at your improv, Mike. Come on. Come on. Okay, so...
But this is an actual conversation that I would have with someone who was telling me these things.
Okay, so you be my dad for a second and I be me, and you just repeat why he's rich.
Well, you see, vampires live for a very long time, and they'd be good at finding things that are going to be worth a lot of money one day, and then selling them when they are worth a lot of money.
Oh, okay, so this vampire just has a basement full of Beanie Babies and baseball cards?
That's a lot better.
Yeah, that's what I asked him straight up, and you know what he said, and we're going to switch back so that you're me and then I'm my dad, okay?
Okay.
So Beanie Babies and baseball cards. Well, no, because the deaf vampire would know naturally that those wouldn't be worth a lot of money. Oh, okay, so he's psychic. No, he's deaf. There's a difference.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. We're going to skip past that part. So he's driving along. Yeah, okay, so his car has TV screens all over it. Because, when you're deaf, you can't hear things coming. So you need to be able to always be looking around the front, the back, and everything else. So naturally, he has 16 different screens in his car showing every single different angle of the car. I'm like, yeah. Where does he park it, though? Because naturally his garage is going to be full of old memorabilias and knickknacks. It's like,
right,
okay.
Of course.
So we're just going to kind of move past that. Okay, so deaf vampire with the Batmobile. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, the Batmobile. So that's kind of funny, because bats, they travel by echolocation. So a deaf vampire, that would make it very difficult. And my dad's eyes grew wide crazy, and he's like, whoa, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, you're literally pitching it to me right now. Like, you already had like 6 pages written. Why would he be a vampire? And he's like, because I want to explain why it's hard to be deaf. I'm just like, oh my god, this is so very, very stupid. So I tried to explain it to him, like, why this is stupid and how you could easily like write something better than that, just based on the idea of like handicapped paranormal creature. So I came up with this story of a blind werewolf, right? I called it Eye Tooth because the eye tooth is also called the canine. It's just like, with bare minimum thought process, you can come up with these puns, you know? I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, my blind werewolf story, I think, would have been pretty interesting. It's like, it's very hard being blind and being your own seeing eye dog. That was the stupidest thing I've ever said.
I mean, I think a blind werewolf would be a pretty interesting concept, honestly.
Yeah, I bet you would. And that's
what is that supposed to mean?
We need to bring back Jimmy wrestling.
Oh.
Oh my god. Anyway. Do you have any stories like that? Like, I'm currently writing a book with Jason, and it's the most fucking infuriating thing ever, so I don't know. Books are kind of on my mind as of late.
Well, no, let's jump back to the deaf werewolf, or the blind werewolf, sorry.
The blind werewolf and the deaf vampire, they loved each other very much. So, blind fucking...
Okay, but look, werewolves aren't known for their sight. They're known for their hearing and their smell.
Yeah.
So if it was blind, it would be even more heightened. So he would basically be... Oh, wait, there's already a story about a blind werewolf. Never mind.
Is there actually?
Yeah, there was an entire season of the MTV show Teen Wolf about it.
I mean, you could easily get around and like, oh, well, in the human state, his senses would actually drop like crazy and he would still be blind no matter what, so it would be very, very inconvenient to transform, back into human.
I guess that's fair. They played it off that he was such a powerful werewolf that he always had his wolf eyes, so he had like the extra sensory around him.
Wolf eyes. Yeah.
Well, he was always using his extra sensory abilities, even in human form.
Just wondering, like, what would even be the point
His name was Killian.
Of the vampire being deaf, right? If you're just gonna solve all of the problems with, oh, as a vampire, he's very rich because he lives a long time and knows, like, the stock market, but with Pokemon cards.
I'm sorry, are you referring to Twilight?
Yeah, my dad was a big Twilight fan.
Oh, why?
Probably because his girlfriend talked him into reading it, and then he's like, oh, this is above Dean Koontz level, and that's all I know, so...
You're not a fan of your dad, are you?
I'm not a fan of Dean Koontz.
I mean, who is?
My friend Amanda. She was super into the Dean Koontz novel Dragon Tears in high school, to the point where I couldn't even get her to get away from the book for 5 seconds to have a conversation at lunch. She was too busy reading it. And so I just started quoting it from memory to her, and she didn't like that very much.
I mean, your friend Amanda sounds pretty basic, like she needs to get better literature choices.
Have you read Dragon Tears by Dean Koontz?
I haven't read anything by Dean Koontz.
Dragon Tears is about this...
I don't know how to read.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Tidepool Orchestra Book Club. By the way, I'm illiterate.
Call me out, Brian.
So, in the Dean Koontz book Dragon Tears, the main villain is a character who has, all these weird time-stopping abilities, and it has all of these different ideas about what it is to be a human, and that the eyes are the window to the soul, but, you can always just put up shades. And his name is Brian.
I'm sorry. Pause and rewind right quick for me.
Okay.
The eyes are the window to the soul,
Uh-huh.
but you can always put up shades.
I throw shade all the time.
God damn it. Okay, go on.
How many goats do I have?
Probably like 5.
Brad's gonna love this episode, I think. Where was I? Okay, so the fucking Dean Koontz Dragon Tears book that she was obsessed with to the point where I had to read it.
Dean Koontz.
Ha! Ha! So, this character named Brian is this weird sociopathic character who's like, I'm going to stop time. Yeah.
Brian, you're a weird sociopathic character.
Yeah, and I often talk about people's eyes and how I can get lost in them forever when I'm being bored and mildly sociopathic. So what happened was we were at lunch and she kept reading it and I got bored and mildly sociopathic, so I started going off memory, just kind of like glancing upwards to remember, you know how you do when you're like trying to figure out how to spell a word?
Yes.
And I did that, and then I just started quoting like line by line whatever I had read yesterday, and she stopped, she put the book down and she said, "Can you not do that?" And I looked back down to her and I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "You're reading one paragraph ahead of me at the same pace that I read." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Can you stop reading then? We're trying to have a meal here. We're trying to start something. We're trying to have a good lunchtime." Anyway.
Do you think we would have been friends in high school, Brian?
I think I would have bullied you. No, I think we would have probably been friends, except in high school I had almost no friends because I spent most of my time reading.
But I had lots of friends that spent most of their time reading. I spent some of my time reading.
I think we might have been really good friends.
Brian, you just said you would have bullied me.
Okay. Let me rephrase. I would have negged you. Is that what you want to hear, Mike? On this, the Tidepool Orchestra?
I mean, probably not then, but now it's super flattering.
Yeah, I bet it's super flattering, huh? You like that, don't you, with your gorgeous eyes? If only you did something with that beard, then you could look really handsome. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what negging is, right?
I guess. I don't know. I don't neg people.
Yeah, during the intermission for this video, during the intermission for this episode of the podcast, we watched my Howard the Duck video, and Mike said, you should really cut your hair. Then you would look nicer.
I didn't say you would look nicer. I just said, Brian, you need a haircut.
It was implied.
No, I just told you needed a haircut.
Okay.
I mean, you either need a haircut or you need to shape it better.
It's hair shape.
Okay, cool. So, moving on.
I think we could talk about one more thing, and then we're probably done, because this is already almost an hour long.
Wait, just this segment?
No, not just this segment. The entire podcast.
Oh, that's fair. That's usually what we aim for.
I would like to aim for shorter podcasts in the future, I think, but we got so many questions in Side A, and then Side B sort of meandered around until it found its own footing. What's your favorite episode of Invader Zim?
My favorite episode of Invader Zim?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all so good.
That's code for I don't remember them.
I do remember them. There's the one where he has to return that movie.
Oh, that one's good. FBI Warning of Doom.
Yep. There's the one with the meat.
That could describe about 6 episodes.
There's the one with the rain.
The wettening.
There's the one where there's that girl alien from Zim's planet that hates Zim.
Attack the Hideous New Girl. That was a 2-parter.
Yep. There's the one with the organs and how they're being put into Zim and replaced by objects and other students.
Dark Harvest, episode 4.
Yep.
That was pretty cool that aired on Nickelodeon. Yeah, there was a pilot that was called the Invader Zim pilot.
Yeah. I watched that the day it premiered.
Yeah. Wait. No, the pilot didn't premiere. Are you talking about The Nightmare Begins?
Possibly, yeah.
The first episode, the one with Dib chasing Zim with a pair of handcuffs?
I don't know, it's the one where he came to the fucking planet.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is The Nightmare Begins. The pilot was unaired, had a different voice actor for Zim. It was actually Billy West, who does Fry from Futurama, and they sounded...
I know who the fuck Billy West is. Don't at me.
Our audience might not. Futurama ended a couple of years ago and started about 19 years ago.
I know, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was also off the air for a good minute.
You know, some of our viewers for our channel
Or 12.
were born after Futurama had already been canceled.
Oh my god, that's true. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, it was canceled like 4 times, so that doesn't count.
It's canceled twice.
Which is 2 more than it should have been.
Tidepool Orchestra was canceled once. Twice. 3 times.
Which is...
But we're
it's come back 3 more times than it should have.
And on that note, thank you for listening. Make sure to share this with your friends, like, subscribe, comment, and pick up a child, put it in a tree, walk away, whatever happens, happens.
Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit a child.
Just right in the face. They deserve it for being shorter than you.
Yeah, because you gotta show dominance over those little fuckers.
Did you know that Washington just recently put in a new law that says you can't do dwarf tossing in bars?
I did not know that, but it makes me very happy to hear.
And by recently, I mean like a month ago it passed, and people got angry.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye!
This has been another episode of the Tidepool Orchestra. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss the next episode, where you can also look forward to some fun bonus content. If you can't get enough of us, you can also follow us on Twitter at TidepoolO and like our Facebook page to keep up to date. We also have a fan Discord, so if you want to hang out with all of us as well as other fans, you can join in by clicking the link down below. For any questions, ideas, or business inquiries, feel free to email us at tidepoolorchestra@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the calming sounds of the Tidepool Orchestra.